In the shadow of the Cold War, the Soviet naval doctrine was shaped by geography, ideology, and the threat of sudden escalation. The Soviet Union, with its vast but vulnerable coastline, prioritized layered defense over global reach. Blue water ambitions were secondary. The primary objective: protect strategic bastions, secure coastal transit lanes, and deny access to the fast, silent NATO submarines constantly probing its defenses. This doctrine emphasized saturation coverage of choke points and shallow seas. Fast attack craft, missile boats, and small anti-submarine ships formed the backbone of local defense. A new class of warship was born: compact, aggressive, purpose-built for shallow water warfare. NATO called it GRISHA, the Soviets called it Project 1124. The GRISHA class, designated by the Soviets as a small anti-submarine ship, was constructed between 1970 and 1990. These vessels were designed for operations in coastal waters with limited range but potent anti-submarine capabilities. All units were equipped with retractable fin stabilizers, a suite of sonar systems, a 57mm for self-defense, and the SA-N-4 Gecko surface-to-air missile launcher. The series evolved through 5 distinct variants. GRISHA 1, the original batch, saw 12 ships built between 1970 and 1974. GRISHA 2, marked with a P, were built for the KGB border guard. These ships replaced the missile system with a second 57mm gun and were produced exclusively in Zelenodolsk and Vladivostok. GRISHA 3, the second major production batch, entered service in the late 1970s and early 1980s. 34 units were constructed, featuring updated electronics and a 30mm gun. 2 served with the Lithuanian Navy until 2009. GRISHA 4 was a single test vessel built in Zelenodolsk to trial the SA-N-9 missile system. It was later decommissioned. GRISHA 5, built between 1985 and 1994, introduced further refinements. The twin 57mm guns were replaced by a single 76mm gun, and 30 ships were produced. Following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Ukraine constructed several GRISHA 5 class ships under the 1124 MU designation. Among them was Tyrael, which entered service in 2006. Both were captured when Russia annexed Crimea. As of 2023, approximately 19 GRISHA-class vessels remain active in the Russian Navy, most of them GRISHA 3s. Modernization efforts include integration of the Tornado II combat suite and Zapad-class anti-submarine missiles. Would you like to know more? Hit subscribe and do your part. Hello and welcome back to War Thunder Naval. Today we are looking at the MPK-33, which is an 1124 Project GRISHA, nasty piece of Soviet engineering built for complete domination of the coastal waters in an anti-submarine warfare role. It is the ultimate evolution of the corvettes that we've seen up to this date, namely the Project 204, which is a favorite vehicle of mine, but the whole time I played it, all I did was wish that it was a GRISHA. These things are armed with the 57mm. It's got 4 torpedo tubes armed with the 533mm Set 53M anti-submarine warfare torpedo. They have 100 kilos of TNT. When we're comparing the MPK-33 to the 204, you can see that the layout is very similar. We've just doubled in size, doubled in displacement. We've now got the SA-N-4 Gecko surface-to-air missile, which is an anti-air missile and anti-missile missile in a pinch. There are better versions out there, but this is just a taste of what we can expect from the Soviet Navy going forward, especially if they keep pushing the coastal line. As I said, the 533mm Set 53s, they just function like a normal torpedo. They got light torpedo mass, but they do for self-defense. And this vehicle, all of its surface weapons really are just for self-defense. The 57mm can't be expected to fight destroyers in anything but a one-on-one confrontation, and even then, you are at a significant disadvantage. You don't have any other form of surface gun besides the 57mm, so it does leave you vulnerable to certain threats. However, anything smaller than you is going to be eaten alive by the the pure penetration that the 57mm has, it is quite expensive to run that belt, but it is my preferred belt, and it will absolutely shred the decks of any destroyer that you face right up to 5.3, sometimes light cruisers at 5.7. But your job is to basically harass. You can't really do much in this vessel besides harass big targets and completely dominate anything smaller than yourself. The SA-N-4 Gecko is a great missile for War Thunder's meta, and unfortunately if you are in a small light-hulled surface vessel, you're going to have a bad time when these things are around, because it's like throwing a guided 6-inch shell. And you can fire 2 of them, because the launcher, the OSA-M launcher, is capable of guiding 2 missiles independently, and it uses optical tracking when it's being jammed by ECM. So it is quite a clever system, and the missiles themselves are quite competent. But again, you won't be able to use it for much more in the anti-surface role than harassing a destroyer and killing light targets. It's very good at killing boats. Very good. I feel sorry for anyone that's in a smaller warship now, past 3.7. Once these things hit the waves in mass, the missiles are going to be painful. And so this is really illustrating that we do need some kind of CWIS or countermeasure system added in the near future if they're going to keep pushing the missile lines. Can you fight the atoms? You can try, and I did, but it won't end well for you. In a missile-to-missile duel, you don't have any countermeasures. So yeah, the Atoms is the superior missile ship. And it should be, because it is a destroyer. It is the first guided missile destroyer designed, purpose-built for it. But it's exciting to see these missile boats in action. Now we're going to jump into some games, and I'll show you how you've got to play this thing. You're not going to be top of the leaderboards, but it is very good at clearing, as I said, the surface vessels that are lighter than you, and any aircraft. Once you figure out how to track these missiles, it can be quite interesting. I should note that this vessel also has a fire director for the 57mm, which is, I believe, the first vessel to have such a feature for this particular gun. So if you are unlocking this vessel, you're probably already familiar with the 57mm, and you'll have a little bit of extra help. But it's no good out past 5 kilometers, and so you'll need to use your missiles with caution, because you know that as soon as you start lobbing these things, everyone's going to shoot back at you. I should also mention it's got the RBU 6000, which just makes it super deadly in a pinch. Let's jump in. So this play session is just all about testing the effectiveness of these missiles in surface combat. We know how much TNT they've got. They've got 8 kilos of TNT. We took out the entire compartment with a direct hit there. They have 60 mils of penetration, 8 kilos of TNT. But I believe they act like a shrapnel shell, so there's a cone of shrapnel, because it is an anti-air missile. So it'd be much better using it to shoot right down the ship, rake the ship from bow to stern. Oh, there's a target here. Easy food. Double missile launch. Our missiles are really only here to cripple them. We take out the turret. Someone else finished him off. I'm a little bit scared to go out into the open water. There are a lot of blue water ships, and we just don't have the firepower to contest them directly. And so I see this ship being relegated to a harasser role and an anti-air ship. Assuming you can save your missiles long enough for the aircraft to start arriving, I'm going to head over towards the capture zone so that we can secure some ammunition for our launcher. And so the gun at close range is very effective at clearing the crew from light-skinned ships. The ship sits nice and high like the Project 1331 Parkim, so we're able to launch the missiles over the obstacles here. But I have noticed that the RBU launchers do obstruct themselves, whereas the Project 204 has them in a super firing arrangement. We managed to hit him. Those Italian Albatross Corvettes are very sturdy. We managed to take out his turret. But the 76mm will give us a bit of pain. They're a very good gun. So I'm going to try and wait until he's distracted, then we'll make a rush across here to the Alpha point. My prerogative is to stay alive, so if that means I have to play passively and hide a little bit, I will do that. It's not my preferred play style, but in an open water map like this, you just got to play to the strengths of the vehicle, and that's what I always try to do. We are almost as far, or we are as fast as the Project 204, despite being twice the displacement. We have a missile out, vampire, vampire, vampire. Unfortunately, that torpedo boat, the brave borderer, didn't stand a chance. So it's not going to suffer from that frigate pain. It's like that guy out here in the open water. He's got a bead on us. Let's try and take out one of his turrets with the Gecko. And so you won't want to rely on this to kill things, but you'll use it to create a distraction. Take his mind off the gunnery, giving us long enough time to get into cover or finish him off. Preferably both. His guns have reloaded, and he's ripple firing them. Alternating fire is very powerful with that. Highly rate that boat. Not many people do, but I do. Missiles out. We might get lucky here. Final damage from the Gecko through the bridge, perhaps. Maybe the turret. Yeah, we got him. We have a target inbound. 810 by the look of it. Of course, being a Soviet RBU armed ship, it's going to be extremely deadly at close range. So you want close waters maps, you want this ambush situation, you want to be able to leverage the power of your weapons so you can overwhelm an opponent before they know you're there. Now, this should be a good illustration of how good the shrapnel is. So we just hit the front turret and took out the bridge as well. Hit the bridge and the shrapnel travels through and hits all the stacks. So there is a little bit of penetration power there. Raking the ship. Oh, we've stayed in the area too long. We're getting artillery on our position. I deserve that. Campers. Going to camp. And here we're going to guarantee revenge. Before you would frantically shoot at the guy that just killed you from spawn, now I can kind of guarantee the kill. Sorry, mate. It's for science. This will be the ideal map for us. We'll be able to launch a Gecko over cover, try and take out the Peacock's main gun. Without his gun, he's not much of a peacock. We have a destroyer over here. Oh, I've been spotted. Hello, everyone. And we've been spotted by the enemy as well. Let's lob some RBUs and try and creep closer. Check both ways before we engage. This is their spawn, so there could be a nasty torpedo boat. We have friends in the chat. Good to see everyone still enjoying the game. Hopefully this guy is about to suffer an ugly demise to the RBU. Loose them! I think we've got good hit here. Yep, ranged in. As I said, the superstructure sits a little bit higher and the RBUs do launch from a higher position, so you will need to get used to it. Wasn't able to finish him off. We've taken critical damage to all of our front-facing weaponry. We've got an angle on this ship here. I can't tell what it is through the haze. And we have a Peacock on our starboard side. He's the priority target. That destroyer is running, but we're in a bit of a dangerous position now because we are sandwiched between the enemy and we have the enemy spawn right in front of us. Bit of an impetuous charge. I was trying to catch a bunch of destroyers coming through the channel. It doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's very fun. We've got the damage control underway. I need to take out the Peacock and then quickly pivot to face this destroyer that hopefully will not come and chase me down. But I have to expect it. Keep that gun neutralized and then he's got no answer to us. Give him an RBU salvo. In that case, the high explosive shells would have been better, but it's pretty niche. I would much prefer to be able to penetrate because this gun is capable of ammo racking destroyers if you hit the sweet spot. Done it a few times. Works against Japanese destroyers with their long lance reloads on top. Smoke deployed to try and block our enemy. Is that an aircraft I can hear? Tasty, tasty aircraft. Heading back towards Bravo. And we've just run a broadside to this destroyer that I didn't finish off. That's alright. Rogue missile out. Oh, this is my first live air target, besides shooting down practice drones in a custom match. He doesn't have much chance of dodging this. We've got a second missile out just in case we miss. We got him. And the kill was stolen. Single engine fighter this time. Maneuvering, diving. He's probably seen the missile. And he's about to hit the deck. We're about to lose lock. See these open water maps here. Just a death sentence now to small warships. And we are sturdy enough and fast enough to be able to run if we need to. Just aim for the engine rooms, torpedo bays, just take the crew out. Modern ship, let's go. He's been finished off before the missile could land. The Harass, the plague of coastal boats. Let's see how she goes. A direct hit to the bridge should do a significant amount of crew damage. A lot of crew are in this. Yeah, so we managed to penetrate the rear section as well and take out the crew there. This boat sits at 4.7, so it's one of 3 or 4 vessels that sit that high in the coastal tree. And arguably it's going to be the most survivable. In an up tier. You're not going to have much options in a full up tier. You're going to want to hide and really just concentrate on ambush work. And of course anti-air duties. Can we hit this guy? And we were able to. The goal is just to keep the missile between you and him, and it should always hit. So if that means increasing the lead on the aircraft, do it. As far as I know, there's no type of guidance, you just got to do it optically. Oh no, Yankee missile warship. We need to get first strike out on him, and then get into cover. I'm going to aim for the rear missile tube, and just hope to God you can get an ammo rack that way. It's at 88% crew. If we hit a compartment, it'll kill it. It's reversing. And we've hit just below the rear turret, took out the compartment, and took out 17% crew. That's pretty good. You'd have to be blind and deaf to have not know that I'm here now after being hit by that. Unfortunately, we have a few boats between us, which might confuse the tracking a bit. We don't want the missiles to fuse on the other warships. We want to go over the top. Try and hit him in the same spot. We're reversing into cover. Not a very successful hit. That one fragmented everywhere. And he's got vampire. Missile out. Full back. And we should be able to break lock. Alright. So that was the first Charles F. Adams to fire a missile in anger at me. Not today, Adams. We're not participating in that kind of fight. This person's a bit grumpy. They don't like having fun, apparently. Telling me to settle down. Relax, kid, apparently, because I got excited about missile duel. I'll teach you. Oh wait, that's a different one. We've hit them in the same compartment, same amount of damage. There's 2 of them out there. Alright, now a storm of 5-inch shells are on their way. We've got to go back into our hidey hole. Hermit Crab Ty back into his shell. And that one went rogue, fire high. And we'll lose lock before we can strike him. So a single missile on a compartment does a relatively decent amount of damage. So no bueno on the missile duel. Missiles are lame apparently. We're going to head over to Alpha because Bravo is now contested and I'm not going out in the open water, so we'll slink around to Alpha after we kill this Jaguar. See if we can find our Adams friends and see where they're at. There is an angry destroyer on Alpha. I'm not sure what class. Oh no, it's Americano. Gearing. We'll take out the top two turrets. And then we just have to hope that this will help our allied destroyers enough to put some meaningful damage on him. Oh, they're bots. They're gonna be useless. It's just me versus this guy. We'll throw out some speculative RBU. Poorly ranged. I've noticed that if you have the missile selected, you do not have a distance on your rangefinder past 2 kilometers. Let's take out that other gun. Direct hit. If we can take out the rear gun, it'll give us 10 seconds. Let's keep repeating the process. We have 5 missiles left. Unable to strike home. We're in trouble now. No meaningful damage to the gearing with his shrapnel protection. And like I said, you know, he's a blue water ship. Although we are a 1,000-ton ship ourselves, we are not. This is not our mission set. So if you're going to fight destroyers, it needs to be at a close range ambush with pre-sighted in RBUs, or really close range with everything. Very sturdy though, unless he's just not landing any decent hits. He's choosing secondaries on us because he's just refusing to repair his main guns. They are back online, and it was all that was required to silence us. We're out of backups. Oh, I'm not going to use a backup this time. So instead, we're going to do an ambush. Now, your first instinct is to always run forward when you're attacking. But believe it or not, running away while attacking is way more effective at keeping you alive. So we have ourselves pointing in an escape direction. We still have half of our grads left. You can see us. Alright, start shooting. Just dump the magazine and run. Now there should be enough smoke here created by this rocket system to double as a smoke screen. We're not getting very good hits here. The water is very rough today here in New Zealand. When is it not rough? And we are away safe. There's something coming, but the match is about to end. Hurry! Oh god, it's... Now these encounter maps are actually very good for missile boats, because we can reload on these maps, believe it or not. If we head to the A point, amongst the convoy, we'll be able to reload our missile. And so when I play the Douglas, I do this all day, all night with the Douglas on these maps. Fire missiles till you're out of ammo, retreat, reload, smoke if you take aggression, and you can farm a lot of assists from missions like this. It's also the premier way to play missile boats in naval enduring confrontation. Although you won't be very popular, that's how you play them. We've used up most of our stocks of missiles, and now we have really pissed off the Moffat players. Here come the shells. Keeping cover between us is a good way to be able to spoil their lead, but unfortunately it doesn't spoil their lock for some time. Despite not having a smokestack, they can still see us. Alright, I think they've lost lock now, but the The serpentine fashion is a very good way to escape, especially when they cannot see you. Well, let's go over the light cruiser. Both missiles jumping up. That first missile looks like it hit a rangefinder and nothing else. That one hitting that juicy compartment below the turret. And now is our time to shine. Looks like we have a wave of aircraft inbound. You cannot change the radar scope. It is only locked to 10 kilometers. In almost all cases, you're better off using your eyes. Wait a few seconds, launch a second one. So that second missile will be able to adjust to any evasive maneuvers this mofo takes. And we can just use it to coup de grace. Where's that other one? You do get the diamonds on your HUD indicating there is a radar target. P-61, evasive maneuvers, but will he be able to outrun? No. Tearing off his right wing, second missile slamming into the cockpit? Yes. We have a third target here, low, fast moving, side aspect. This will be a challenge. Give some generous lead here. Probably too much lead. Fire a second missile. He hasn't seen it yet. 5 kilometers away, that's only 11-second flight time, so it overshot. Second missile tracking. And overshot. It's hard to tell where your missile is at in its flight time, so you really need to guess count. 580 meters per second. He's flying NOE. Pre-firing. Let's try and have this missile waiting for him. It's about halfway there. And the second tube. He's got nowhere else to run now. He's taken some damage. Good lead. And kill. Aircraft finished off, so we didn't damage him, but we secured that kill. I think that's a pretty good illustration of what you will find when you're playing the MPK-33. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Why not stick around and watch one of these other fantastic videos while I have your attention?